Stay tuned.
Stay informed and enjoy.
Gagasi FM.
As that drive on Gagasi FM on a Thursday afternoon, and you know the story between 4 and 5 p.m. on a Thursday, it is that Trendsetter. Going in with that Trendsetter today, honored to have in the house the son of the former President of the Republic of South Africa, businessman, entrepreneur, all-round handsome guy, only wears tailored suits.
You know what I'm saying?
Look at me now. Duduzane Zuma in the house. Zane, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. Thanks for that warm introduction.
Was it warm?
It was
warm. It was warm, like a hug. I wanted it to feel like a hug.
It was a tight hug. It was a tight hug. Thank you for having me on your show, man.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks for to your listeners and your viewers as well.
Thanks for exposing yourself. So check it out. What are you doing here, bro? You know, you've been gone for like a number of years. We haven't seen or heard about you other than when it's reported on in the media. And all of a sudden you're back, you're out in the town, you know, you making a loud noise about the fact ukuthi usubuyile ekhaya. What spurred that decision? Why are you here?
This is home. People haven't seen me around. I've been in and out, but you know, I've been dealing with some very publicized issues, if I may call it that. So I've been dealing with some serious things in the background. And until I felt I dealt with a lot of the potentially massive pitfalls in my life, in my career, I had to take a step back, sort
and just
that
be
out.
quiet. Yeah.
And then, you know, we're coming back. We're here. Like we never left.
Have you been to Nkandla yet? In your time back, because so far on Facebook I've seen like your young public appearances. Have you been home ekhaya?
No, I have not been home. No.
Is that your home, or is your home somewhere else?
My home is somewhere else. I think ancestrally, traditionally, that is
your home.
That is home. That's where my lineage is from. But where I live full time, where I spend most of my time, is at this point not in Kanda.
And I heard you say that you're back like you've never left, right? And I think that's a little bit of an understatement. You're back like you're reborn. Actually, it's a strange kind of homecoming, because uthando abantu abakubonisa lona right now is none like they've ever shown you before. Do you think it's your bad boy appeal that just gets people in such a frenzy,
flustered
when you're around?
Look, I appreciate the love and support that people show. I think even over the period where I haven't physically met people, you know, we have our people that speak well of us, and we've got our people that don't like us. You know? Middle ground is where we operate, and fortunately, things have gone according to plan. I've said a lot of things. I've stated my part. I've stated the issues that I faced, and I'll walk through those. All that journey.
And you came home and you faced it.
Yeah, 100%. And I think more than anything, actually seeing and feeling the love. It's encouraging. You know, we all need some love from time to time.
Is it surprising to see that love? Because, say for example, you know, you're sitting somewhere in the world and you're reading about yourself, and what's being reported is something very different to when you actually come here. People see you, and it's like, is all that stuff I read about myself true? Because that's not what people are showing me.
It's actually quite a strange feeling, because I mean, it's no secret. A lot of the stuff that's been written or publicized has been very negative. And every time I've come back, you know, I'll see the little haters on the side, you know, but you know, we're not worried.
They're not getting any retweets.
We know how to handle you guys, don't worry.
Who or how would you like to be identified now that I feel like you've just, you know, you've been reborn and you welcome yourself back into the world? How do you want to be identified? When people hear Duduzane Zuma, what do you want people to think and say?
Yeah, but I'll get to that question. I was just finishing off my previous one. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah. So the people that show me love, I appreciate them. The negativity has not gotten the best of me yet. So you know, I'm honored to be loved by people, and the love that I'm receiving. And to answer your question, I'm one of used. That's all it is. I'm a regular dude. I'm out here. I'm doing my thing just like everyone else. Get up in the morning, go to bed, got my issues, I've got my good times.
Yeah.
You know, we're here to have a good time. We're here to help people out. We're here to do great stuff. We have our own issues that we need to sort in the background. That's none of anybody's business. But I want people to remember me as one of the guys. That's all it is.
Are you embracing your bad boy image though? Because I'm not gonna lie, from a female's perspective, from, you know, all of the fandom that you've garnered over this past maybe 6 months to a year, the edge is that we don't know much about him. He seems so mysterious. His eyes have a darkness to them. It's so appealing. He's so sexy. Oh my God, I'm taking my bra off. And it's that.
That's exactly what I said.
I mean, and it's like you have an edge to you that gives people that he's a bad boy.
Yeah.
Are you embracing that? What are your feelings towards that?
I was hoping to have sidestepped that. You're raising that for the second time now, but
I don't think.
look, I'm not sure about that description. I'm not gonna, I've got nothing to say about that. I'm me, I'm doing what I
And
need
you're not
to
a
do.
bad boy. Wink, wink.
Dark eyes, you got me say bags under my eyes.
I wouldn't know. You're not bad to me.
You got dark eyes, and I have bags under my eyes, girl.
Yeah. Is that your vibe?
Is that your no?
Talk to me about, you touched on Uguti, your ancestral home is Nkandla.
Yes.
South Africa is your home. You're a proud Zulu man. I've always looked at, it's a small thing, but I think it says volumes. Like, I've looked at the relationship between you and your dad. Whenever the two of you are together, whenever, even like his posts on Instagram, you like you're jostling, you're playing around. Is that the nature of your relationship? How close are you and your father?
When we were jostling, he was trying to kick my ass. I was defending myself. Let's just be clear. But besides that, he's my father. He's brought us up in the way he brought us up. First and foremost, I was born in Maputo, Mozambique. So, just leading to the ancestral home. In exile, that long mumbo jumbo story. Anyways, end up in SA and exposed to the real Zulu culture, which obviously
back to KZN.
Because I've lived in Maputo, I've lived in Zimbabwe and Zambia, and then coming back home, it was an adjustment. At the time, it was something interesting. It was something we'd only heard about or read about, and experiencing it for the first time was, I'm sounding like a tourist, but that's what experiencing it for the first time was quite something, and how that has developed to what it is now, even in the publicity from Nkandla, what it was then to what it is now with running water, electricity,
from the
and so
rural
on. From the rural,
that it was, yeah.
So that time, interacting with the real traditional cultural things that happen, from the ceremonies to the weddings to the funerals, it was something, and it's always something that I'm learning as I go along, because I've had to catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those years spent out of country, you had to catch up when you got
correct,
here. Yeah.
Correct.
Still, as we're still talking about your youth, when was the moment or just time back then when you realized, oh shoot, I'm being raised by a politician, my father's a politician, and what are some of the challenges that came with that, if any, that you experienced?
The challenges that came with that is, he was not a stay-at-home dad, so we wouldn't see him much. We'd see him from time to time. Months would go by, he'd pop in, and he'd pop out. I think,
Did all of you as the kids get equal attention?
yeah, definitely did. He's even till today. He's very good with it. I must say, he's very
How
good.
does he do it, bro?
I don't know.
1 hour a day per child, no sleep.
Not enough hours in the day.
Exactly.
He keeps adding those hours. You know what I mean? True story. But I think I realized, because back in the day there was, there was a lot of political education. I'm not getting into politics, but living outside of South Africa.
You were aware of it?
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
like, even as a kid, you were aware that
There was videotapes. There was
this dude is my dad, and that's why I come.
Sure,
behind
there
you.
was there's something called the Young Pioneers, which is like a scout type formation that existed then. That imparted this knowledge for people living within and outside of South Africa. So as time went on, you see the face in the background, and from time to time the interactions with
Like,
other.
Hey, that's my dad.
Yeah, it's like that's pops.
Yeah.
And speaking of,
and that would have been in the late 80s.
okay. And speaking of knowledge that he's imparted on you, I mean, he's a very cultural and traditional man. How important is culture yako as Zulu to you? Like, she's in Pepe Dubai.
No, it's a potpourri.
She's on my incense.
Some of that good Indian stuff. It's an important thing because that's who we are. Unfortunately, times have changed. You know, we've got to embrace the change. The world has changed. It's become more advanced. It's become more interactive. And, you know, there's a lot of practices and traditions that are taking a backseat purely because of how the generation of today, how our generation was brought up. So a lot of the cultural practices, unfortunately, are dwindling away. I see it. We try to keep it alive, but some of us, unfortunately, have not had the opportunity to have been born into it immediately and carry it forward. Some of us have not had the opportunity of living in the confines of a traditional area. Because,
And you've had to catch up,
you know,
like you said.
Yeah, no, besides that, I mean, just even people in this, you know, in the system here, people, you know, you travel, you're coming to the big city to do what you need to do, bills to pay, and that falls to the background. You know, once in a while, yeah, you'll go back for a wedding, you'll go back for a ceremony, but you know, it's not something that you are engaged in full time because you're dealing with other real life issues. You know, so that's
Zani,
what it is.
talk to me about your song selection here. What song is it and why have you selected it?
I put it down. Anxiously, the public can't wait.
Nice. I thought
Jay-Z, R. Kelly.
I thought you were going to say, before me there was many, after me there will be none.
No.
I'm the one. Jay-Z, R. Kelly, not guilty.
Not guilty. That's for me. It's timeless. Before, you know, it's more relevant to me now. But you know how it is when you listen to a song when you are 10 years old.
Yeah.
And then you listen to it when you're 20.
And then you grow up and you're like, hey.
Yeah, 100%. and then when you listen to it in your 30s and it's like it's the same song, but it means different things at different times. But it's, you know, still
Very loaded.
Yeah.
Nicely said.
Yeah.
It's R. Kelly, Jay-Z. This one is called Not Guilty, courtesy of our trendsetter for today. In the studio with none other than Duduzane Zuma.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and there was his first song selection. Now, talk to me about that journey, Zani. Like, here you are. You know, I imagine you always aspired to one day be an entrepreneur. You know, or did you one day see yourself? What was your dream when you were growing up? Did you want to be a doctor, lawyer? Just so that I'm on the right page.
I think for most of us, and you know, I don't want to sound like I'm speaking on behalf of anyone else, but for at least the people that I know, what we're doing today is not what we aspired to do then.
Yes.
I think circumstance has a lot to play with, depending on what's going on at that time.
Okay.
It could be what's surrounding you in your life, your family situation, your folks, whatever it is that you're dealing with internally, to career path. I mean, you think you're going to go one way and
you go another.
The world switches up and you're like, okay. And at the end of the day, there's bills to be paid. That's the bottom line of it. And it was not a dream of mine to be a businessman or an entrepreneur. That was not in the plans.
But when that plan started coming together, you
it
wanted
happened
to be a
coincidentally.
successful one.
Then yeah, of course. I think I was like, I think I can do this. I need to do it, otherwise I won't go hungry. And I was like, okay, this is the way, and we'll push to the highest limits. And I believe that. And when I'm saying we, you know, it's you know, I don't do this thing alone. You know, there's a lot of people that support me.
That make this machine
Yeah,
work.
100%. So it's not like, hey, you know, I'm here, you know, self-made. You know, I've got people that have pulled me up. You know, I've got people that have pushed up. But it's one system, and we're growing each other.
Yeah.
And
Well, so how do you feel when you are judged harshly? Because, let me say this, right? You do Duduzane Zuma, you're a businessman, you have this company and you want to see this company succeed. You put in just as much work as the other guy. You've got the same things that a company needs to thrive or a business needs to thrive. The relationships that you have help benefit the business. You are a man with a very famous surname. When you, like I'm Warras, I'm a DJ. When I phone at the club, say they let me in.
Straight up.
When you phone at the boardroom and you say it's Duduzane Zuma, have you had an easier time or have you had just as hard a time as the next guy? And now it's like when this is the feedback that you get, do you feel like hard done by that? Where you like, yo man, I'm just as hard working as the next man. What's up?
Not at all. I think it's part of growing up.
Yeah. Is it to be expected?
I think it is. It comes with the good and the bad. You know, whatever happens, you know, the difficulties, the hoops. Because, I've had to jump through hoops, which most people will not need to jump through. It's an occupational hazard. You know, you fill in paperwork, you're trying to do something, you got to do things 10 times harder. You need to put a lot of extra into it for people to realize, okay, no, this guy's not just coming and pushing through. And that's why I've taken the approach of doing private business as opposed to government business, you know, contrary to popular belief. Because I didn't want people saying, hey,
Because Baba,
he's trading on that name. So, you know, and the story will speak for itself. There's a lot of stuff being said, and you know, I've really been minding my own business. So the occupational hazard part of it is when, and you know, you guys will know that you are in the public space, the social media space. People look at you, you guys do stuff, people will frown upon it, others will applaud it because you guys are names in your industry. You know, you're coming a long time, and it just goes with that being an occupational hazard. Now, from my side, I found it to be, and I've said this before, a blessing and a curse. You know, there's times where when it's good, and there's times where when it's bad, it's really bad. You know, because there's people that say, okay, there's for example now, the height of it on the bad side is what they call a PEP, politically exposed person, meaning you are related or affiliated to someone of
political power.
Yeah, political power, and they're like, yo, because of that, you know, you're scrutinized
10 times over.
You know what I'm saying? Then at times it's like, yo, you just can't do things because like, yo, you're a pip, and that's it. There's nothing after that. There's no constitutional court. There's nothing that's going to help you out. If you're a pip on a global standard, those are the rules that apply. That's it. It's set in stone. So those are challenges that are faced. On the good side, yeah, there are times where, you know, the name has worked out. You know, there's times where if I needed to get into the club, if I couldn't use your name, Warras, y'all be like, yo,
yo, it's me, son.
Yo, it's me, yo, I'm out here, let me in.
Warras.
DZ, what up?
Talk to me. But, you know, on a serious note, there are times where, yes, people have sat around the table because there is a name attached to the person. You know, I'm not going to lie about it. It's been, and that's been when it was good, you know, and there's times now when it's good, when it's bad, it's bad. But leading to the broader idea, I think it's been, you know, I'm not here making complaints. You know,
no regrets.
I'm no regrets, yo. Whatever the pressure comes, it comes. That's life.
And considering, you know, those challenges, the pros, the cons, and the love that you're now receiving from home, talk to me about Duduzane, the entrepreneur, the businessman. Where are you setting your sights in terms of prospects? You know, is it within Africa, within South Africa, or outside the country?
All right, so I've always believed, and this is some knowledge that was kicked to me many years ago. If you're a businessman, you need to think globally. You know, you got to get the global doctrine of capital, and then, you know, whether it down back into the domestic doctrine, meaning you've got the way business works in the big bad world, how you fit into that system, because now if you just focus on the South African system, you're going to restrict yourself. That's my view. So that in a nutshell is, if you're going to set up a business, if you're going to set up something that's going to take you to the next level of whatever it is that you do, whether you're in entertainment, technology, mining, whatever it is, you've got to think about setting up a base outside of the country, whether it's in Africa, whether it's in Europe, whether it's in the US. You know, it's easier said than done, but that should be the big picture approach. Because, you know, if you look at a lot of the successful business people that exist in South Africa, for example, they've got setups all over the show. Hong Kong, London, New York, Dubai, others, Zurich, Geneva, wherever it is. And the idea of that is, if you want to be taken seriously as a business person, if you want to sit around the table, you have to come with some sort of clout. You know, people will come and they'll say a lot of stuff to you. You know, some people make sense, some people don't make sense. You need to know your story. So, you know, set up, get the bigger picture in play, and work backwards, reverse engineer it, and try and get to that dream. So from my side,
is that what you're doing? Yeah.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted. That's what I did. Regardless of everything else, you know, there's you know, Africa is a big picture. I think for everybody, globally, not just South Africa. Africa is that's the last frontier. You know, everything else, is a sideline. Everything else is a distraction. And
Everything
Africa
else
is where
done.
it's at.
Yeah.
Africa is
That-
where it's at, including South Africa.
That was my next question, actually. Wuti, how much of an opportunity is being a businessman or entrepreneur in South Africa right now? Like, where is South Africa's position in the bigger picture?
South Africa's position in the bigger picture is not something looking into the futures. We need to look back. If you look at how South Africa has been shaped over the past, since when? 1862, whenever
Whenever the Van Riebeeck landed.
whenever the homies arrived and we're like, yo, we like what's happening
Yeah.
here, let's go. From then up until now and looking into the future, that speaks volumes. Why? I don't want to sound like an economist because I'm not. I don't want to sound like, someone that's trying to position. But the way I've seen it as a young business person is the resources are available in South Africa. You've got skill sets that a lot of people don't have all over the world. If you look at the way the country was shaped, you look at, for example, the nuclear program. There was something that was developed at a time where the rest of the world was not able to, barring, I'm not going to mention the names, but the various countries that exist all over the world, which are not many. That speaks of a skill set that was developed here, even at the height of, the world sanctioning South Africa, for example. At that time, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
You look at the mining space, some of the greatest engineers, some of the greatest business people operate in the mining space. Now, to cut the long story short, South Africa is definitely on a trajectory to greatness. That story started many years ago, and we couldn't be in a better place. The reason I'm saying that is whatever is happening at the moment is part of our development. We're going to disagree, we're not going to see things eye to eye, but these things have to happen.
Yeah.
They have to happen.
We'll talk about that trajectory in a bit, but tell me about your second song that you've chosen.
The second song is Damian Marley and Nas. That's
Patience.
that's the
Well,
one.
they have a whole album together, so which one is it? Patience?
The Road to Zion. What is
The
that?
Road to Zion. Oh, dope.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that song.
That's a great song. Talk to me, I got you. Yeah. I should actually come. Yo, hire me. I'm available.
Stay tuned.
Stay informed and enjoy.
Gagasi FM.